Hi. Okay, so curious po, what made you change from being DDS to na realizing the bad things that they are doing? Okay. First of all, uulit-ulitin ko talaga to, I was never a DDS. Why? Number one, I am not a Duterte diehard supporter because first, I'm not from Davao City. Okay? Number two, I did not vote for PRRD in 2016. I can't believe I have to repeat this so many bajillion times, no? But this is the truth, ha? So, he was not my president. My president was Miriam. Okay? My president was Miriam. I didn't even know the Dutertes because ang una kong nakilala was Sara Duterte nung nanuntok siya ng sheriff. Kasi mas una ko siyang nakilala kaysa sa papa niya. Okay? Si PRRD naman, obviously, I have family that live in Davao City. Of course, mayor siya ng Davao City. And of course, I've heard the stories, diba, from them. But it was only in 2016, and this is very honest, ha? It was only in 2016 when I was discovered to be a part of a broadcasting company that was owned by somebody who truly is the DDS. Siya yung DDS, not me. Because, of course, he's based out of Davao. And number two, of course, he truly values the leadership of the Dutertes. Okay? So in turn, I imbibed that. And in a way, even on the day of PRRD's, what you call this, proclamation, I remember I was in my office in that radio station, and I said to him, I talked to him on the TV, and I said, before ka mo naog as president, magkita kita o magstorya ta kay na ako'y gibuhat, no? Para magkita ta, and I will wear a bright red terno. Okay? That is the extent of it. And like I actually did, and which is hindi ko naman expect na mangyayari, the only time that I even arrived and vocally talked about the Duterte, PRRD basically, was only in 2020. Nakalimutan niyo ba? I was not there in 2015 or 2016. 2020 na po ako dumating. Last bit of the year pa. And it started pa with the fact that nagsalita ako kasi hinahanap siya, di ba? Nasaan ang Pangulo? Doon lang yun. Yun lang yun. Okay? But obviously, first 5 years niya, nakita ko ang lahat ng ingay. Di ba? Kasi walang nagsasalita na to me ba, na in the grassroots level, what his leadership was doing to normal people like me. Okay? So that's what happened. Imagine that I went viral. It was November of 2020. That was really when I went boom. Because my first most viral video, number one, was when I corrected Pauline Ameling's sa word na pohon. Okay? I corrected her, and that was really my first parang viral moment. And then the second time, mo na tong nasaan ang Pangulo, and then dire-diretso na. So I was never a DDS, and I really do not like that label before. I never liked that label because I was never a part of the group. They never liked me. Okay? I knew that of course they would only wanna be friends with me because of course nagagamit pa nila yung content ko. Okay? But the moment that hindi na magka-align ang content, and the moment that I would say no to saying things that really did not come from my heart, I stopped being a part of that group. And when they attacked me and all these things, I let them be. Diba? I let them be. Kasi to think like, for example, Alex Destor, me and Alex, we never fought in person. There was never a reason for us to fight. Except that, when he did a live, sa pagkadakip po ng kanyang kapatid, na sinasabi niya na plinantingan daw, hindi po plinantingan. Kilo po ang nakita, no, sa butong. At hindi lang po once nadakip yung kapatid niya. Once lang niya ni-live, tapos ang dami niyang ni-name drop. Doon ko nalaman yung totoong pangalan niya. Doon ko nalaman ang totoong pangalan niya na hindi pala yung pinapalabas niya dito sa internet na Tio Moreno. We did that. He even came to my house. We had a meal. I prepared a meal for him. So wala talaga. It just so happened that when that whole thing happened na dinakip yung kapatid niya and drug connected pala yung family niya or siya mismo, I stopped being his friend because dumistansya ako. Dumistansya ako because I was told by my handlers na magdistansya na because personally, I cannot be supporting the Dutertes and be associated with somebody that's associated to drugs. 'Di ba? That's just me being honest, okay? So, I didn't know na, he eventually went to be a part of the team of Sara Duterte and all these things. I really never cared, okay? Because to start, I never wanted to work with Sara Duterte. Meaning, I did not want to work for her. So, I did not apply, okay, in the DepEd or the OVP. I applied only after PRRD stepped down as president. Only during this administration, I applied for a job in the DOT and the DSWD, which are two agencies that I deeply love and want to work for. Not Sara Duterte, not the OVP, and not DepEd. Can I be clear about that? Okay. Now, nawala na po ako sa side ni Sara Duterte kasi may personal po silang ginawa sa akin. April 1, 2022. This happened after the rally sa Digos. Okay? Something happened that was very personal and I don't want to talk about it right now because it's not the right time. And I promised PRRD that I will talk about that when he's already passed and 40 days after his passing. Because that's really what I promised. I will talk about that. Hindi ko naman yan tinatago. It's just that dun pa lang with what happened pa lang that day, I decided no more. I was not ever going to support her at all. Imagine ha, April 1, 2022 pa ito. And on April 14, 2022, that was the time that I had arrived in Tacloban and I met Tingog. And it was also in that same mission to the Abuyog and Baybay Leyte landslides that I decided I was going to volunteer for Tingog party list. Because, in a way, I knew who Martin Romualdez was at that time because obviously I had seen him in the rally in Digos, which is also the first time that I saw him. Hindi ko naman siya kilala, di ba? Hindi ko rin kilala ang kanyang asawa na napaka-small world pala, taga sa amin, si Ma'am Yeda. You get what I mean? Di ba? So, hindi po siya na umalis ako kasi bad things. No! It just so happens na dati-rate, I did not speak about them or got to know them kasi hindi naman kami chami-chami, be. At saka wala naman akong pakialam kasi hindi nga ako Davawenya. You get what I mean? Kung ano man ang ginagawa nila that has nothing to do with me or has nothing to do with the national level, wala akong pakialam. Dito lang naman ako na I really did not like anymore and openly said, kasi there was even a video that I made that I was even saying that I would support a Sara Aimee tandem. This was way before. Diba? Because I get that the next plan nga talaga, which I was so amenable to, na the plan talaga is ang susunod talaga na presidente kay BBM, si Sara talaga, and I was so okay with that until I saw how she started this entire problem that we are in right now. Because I was shocked, because a week before she posted Tambaluslos, okay na okay pa siya ng taong ginago niya. Magkasama pa sa meeting, masaya pa lahat. You get what I mean? And obviously, ako that started to support Tingog and stayed there and saw how Tingog is good at work and I like their values, it just so happens that Martin Romualdez is not defensive. And that's precisely the reason why I will never support the Duterte children. Because they are being defended even when it's something that has to be talked about and they have to be held accountable. Ayoko kasi yung nagagalit tayo when we are faced with being accountable. Hindi because the Romualdezes are not like that. I will say it again. Walang problema sa akin that you will call Martin Romualdez names. But please, kung may magsasabi ka man sa kanya, insultuhin mo man siya, siguraduhin mo muna na totoo ang nalaman mo na istorya. Because just because hindi nagsasalita si Martin Romualdez, it doesn't mean na totoo lahat ng sinasabi ni Sara Duterte. And that's what I will never support. Because I never support liars. Gets niyo yan? Ingat!